Okay, so today, let's dive into something kind of fascinating. This book from like 1910 called The Science of Getting Rich by this guy, Wallace D. Wattles.
Okay.
And I know you might be thinking like, oh, no, not another like get rich quick thing from a million years ago.
Yeah.
This is different, I swear.
Oh, okay.
Wattles is really more about mindset than like some magic formula.
I see.
And he really digs into this idea that wealth is actually like crucial for a truly successful and fulfilling life. Like, what do you make of that?
That's an interesting thought, right? I mean, today everyone's always talking about finding your purpose, right? Like living your best life.
Right.
And Wattles is kind of tapping into that same desire. Like we all have it.
Yeah.
But he's linking it directly to like wealth. Like you can't fully express your potential.
Right.
Unless you have the resources to actually do those things.
Yeah, it's like having the freedom to just like pursue whatever you're passionate about.
Right.
Support causes you care about.
Yeah.
Even just experience more of the world.
Totally.
And Wattles didn't see this desire for riches as being greedy or anything. He saw it as like this natural yearning for a richer existence.
Yeah.
Which is kind of counter to how we're told to think about money these days.
It really is. And this is where it gets really interesting because he actually like uses this example of two people.
Okay.
And they have the same business. They're in the same neighborhood.
Mm.
One is thriving and the other is really struggling.
Uh-huh.
And Waddle says, you know, this proves it's not just luck or circumstance. There's a way of like thinking and acting that leads to wealth.
Regardless of like your background.
Exactly.
Which is actually super empowering when you think about it.
It is.
You know, you're not stuck. It's not predetermined.
Exactly.
Now, get ready for this.
Okay.
Because Wattles dives into this whole concept of thinking substance, this original substance, which is basically like the source of everything in the universe.
Okay.
And here's the kicker.
Okay.
He says it responds to our thoughts.
Now, before we all get an image in our minds of, you know, money trees sprouting from good vibes, it's important to remember like the context of his time.
Right.
Wattles was part of this whole new thought movement, which was really big on the idea that the mind is super powerful and can actually shape reality.
So it's less about like literal manifestation.
Right.
And more about the idea that our thoughts influence our actions.
Exactly.
And our energy. And then those impact our outcomes. It's like a chain reaction.
100%.
It starts in your mind.
Exactly.
And to tap into this thinking substance,
yes,
Wattles is really big on the importance of gratitude.
Oh, interesting.
Not just like as a polite thing to do.
Right.
But as like this powerful force in the universe.
He calls it a game changer.
He does. He really does.
Yeah.
Wattles believed that gratitude can actually shift our focus from like lack to abundance.
Yeah.
So we're more aligned with the creative energy of the universe.
It's about like appreciating what we already have.
Yeah.
Even if it's just the small things.
Yeah. This really resonates with me. Because it's like, you know, when you're just like swamped with bills and deadlines.
Oh, right.
And then you just pause for a second. You're like, oh, I'm really enjoying this cup of coffee.
Yes.
Or it's so nice to catch up with you.
Yeah.
That little shift can change your whole energy, you know?
100%. And that shift in energy, Wattles would say, is actually what allows us to then become receptive.
Oh, interesting.
To more opportunities, to more abundance.
It's like, what's that saying? Where attention goes, energy flows.
Yes,
exactly. Like you start noticing all the good things.
Right.
And then suddenly, like, more good things kind of come your way.
Exactly. And Wattles actually, he takes this whole thing a step further. With visualization, he's not just saying, like, think happy thoughts and good things will happen.
Right.
He's talking about, like, creating a super clear mental picture of what you want and then, like, living as if you already have it.
Okay, so you're saying, like, picture yourself in that dream scenario.
Exactly.
Whatever that looks like.
Whatever it is.
Is there like actual science behind this whole visualization thing?
Yeah.
Because like to me, it always sounded a little woo-woo, I guess.
Right. You'd be surprised though, neuroscience and sports psychology are actually finding that if you like really vividly imagine yourself doing like performing a task, it can actually improve your performance in real life.
Wait, really?
Yeah. It seems like our brains like they don't always distinguish between a real experience and something you've, like, vividly imagined.
Wow.
So when we're repeatedly visualizing something, we're essentially giving our brains all these practice runs.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we're strengthening all those neural pathways that are associated with that outcome that we want.
So Wattles, like, he was really onto something with this whole visualization thing.
He was.
It's like you're planting these seeds, right?
Right.
In your subconscious.
Yeah.
And then, like, this is a key part. You can't just, like, plant them and walk away, right?
Exactly.
You have to, like, tend to them.
Exactly.
You got to water them. You got to give them sunlight. Action is crucial.
100%. He was very adamant that thought without action is totally powerless.
Right.
It's like he encourages us to focus on just doing our best in our current circumstances, no matter how ideal they seem.
So you're saying, like, no more waiting for that perfect moment.
Exactly.
Or, like, waiting for things to change externally. It's about, like, being proactive.
Exactly.
Taking ownership of the situation,
yes.
even if you're starting small, you know. So say, like, so say someone listening, right? They're stuck, like, in a dead-end job.
Right.
What's an example of, like, an action they could take, even in that situation?
Oh, totally. So they could volunteer for a new project at work.
Okay.
That maybe uses some skills they haven't gotten to use yet.
Okay.
Or they could, even in their free time, be studying, like, gaining some expertise in an area they're curious about.
Oh, I like that.
Right.
It's about progress over perfection.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you don't have to wait until everything's perfect to get started.
Exactly.
You just got to start somewhere.
Yes.
And as you're taking action, Wattles, he introduces this other really powerful concept.
Okay.
And it's called the impression of increase.
Okay.
Which, like, I don't know, when I first heard that, it sounded kind of, I don't know.
Kind of mystical.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you actually, like, break it down, it's actually very practical.
It is. It's really about, like you said, like, approaching everything with this energy of, like, growth and abundance. You're not just, like, crossing your fingers and hoping things will get better.
Right. You're, like, radiating the energy that things are already getting better.
Exactly.
That you're evolving, you're expanding.
Yeah.
So it's less about, like, going around bragging.
Right. Yeah.
And more about just, like, this genuine confidence, this belief in yourself and your own potential.
100%. And that ends up impacting how other people see you, too.
It's true, though.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Like, if you meet two people, right?
Yeah.
Who would you rather work with?
Yeah.
Who would you rather be friends with?
Mm-hmm.
Someone who's, like, constantly complaining.
Right.
About, like, how much they lack.
Right.
Or someone who's just, like, exuding this energy of anything is possible.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who's more magnetic?
Exactly.
Right.
And it's like that saying, a rising tide lifts all boats or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like you're not just focused on your own success.
Right.
You're bringing other people along with you.
Precisely.
Which I love.
Yeah. And that actually ties in really well with Wattles' emphasis on ethical behavior.
Oh, okay.
He actually warns against, like, seeking power over other people.
Excellent.
Or getting caught up in, like, that cutthroat competition.
Which honestly feels, like, incredibly relevant.
I know, right?
For today, like, especially in, like, the business world.
Totally.
Where it's so easy to get swept up in that whole hustle at all costs mentality.
Right. And I think Wattles would probably argue that while, like, the specific tactics might have changed, like, the principle is still the same.
Okay.
True success, lasting success, isn't about, winning at all costs.
Right.
It's about creating value,
right,
serving others, and just operating from a place of integrity.
I love that.
It's about creating those win-win situations where everybody benefits.
It's like that whole thing we were just talking about, right, with the impression of increase. Like, you're not just benefiting yourself, you're actually, like, lifting other people up in the process, which I kind of love.
Yes. It's a very different way of looking at things than, like, that zero-sum game mentality. It really speaks to Wattles' belief that true wealth, and I think this includes, like, material wealth and spiritual wealth. It doesn't just have to be one or the other. It all comes from this place of abundance, not scarcity.
And that abundance mindset, it's contagious.
Totally.
Like, when you're around someone who just genuinely believes in themselves, and they want to see other people succeed too, it's inspiring.
It is.
It makes you want to step up your own game.
Yeah. And, I think that's a big part of what Wattles is getting at. In the science of getting rich, it's not just about, like, manifesting a yacht or, having a 7-figure bank account.
Right.
It's bigger than that. It's really about cultivating this whole mindset of abundance, of gratitude, of service to others. And it's about, like, weaving that into every aspect of your life.
It's about, like, not just being rich financially, but, like, living a really rich, meaningful life.
Exactly. And I think, while some of the things he talks about might sound a little outdated now, like some of the language he uses, the core principles, they're still so relevant.
Totally.
That power of thought, gratitude, taking action, that's timeless stuff.
Absolutely. So as we're, kind of wrapping up our deep dive here into Wattles and his book, I'm left with this question. What if we all really embrace these principles? Like, what if we shifted our mindsets from scarcity to abundance, from competition to collaboration? What do you think would be possible?
It's a great question. And I don't know if there's like one right answer, you know, but I think it starts with that inner work, like cultivating that mindset of abundance, believing it's possible.
Yes.
And then, like we were talking about before, taking action from that place.
I love that. That's such a good place to leave it. Something for our listeners to think about. And on that note, I think we'll wrap up this deep dive into the science of getting rich. Hopefully, everyone listening found it insightful, maybe a little thought-provoking, and hey, maybe even a little bit life-changing. Until next time, keep those minds open and those actions aligned with your aspirations.